Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Rhonda Farrell, the founder of CSTGIA, bringing you week 44, Cyber Harmony, Building Ethical Resilience in a Hyper-Connected World. We're going to talk about unrealized opportunities in cybersecurity. So in music, harmony is not the absence of dissonance. It's the intentional balance of contrast. And that's the sound of security. Different notes, different tempos, sometimes even different instruments, yet when aligned by rhythm and purpose, much like a symphony, they create beauty. Cybersecurity too needs harmony because today's digital environment is not a solo performance. It's a global orchestra of systems, sensors, algorithms, and human decisions. The problem is our world often plays in chaos. We're drowning in alerts, disconnected policies, conflicting incentives, and ethical gray zones. Our challenge is to bring coherence, to transform cybersecurity from a reactive, fragmented discipline into a harmonized ecosystem of trust, ethics, and innovation. That is the essence of cyber harmony, the art and science of building ethical resilience in a hyper-connected world. So today we're going to look at 6 different areas. The first being from security silos to symphonic systems. For decades, cybersecurity was organized around silos: IT, OT, policy, compliance, operations, each with their own playbook, their own metrics, and their own urgent priorities. But today, those divisions no longer hold fast. So really, the convergence of AI, IoT, and quantum technology that has blurred every single boundary we used to artificially put into place. Data doesn't stop at a firewall, and risk doesn't respect organizational charts. The same algorithm that optimizes logistics can now influence elections. So what does harmony look like in this context? Well, it means shifting from isolated controls to interdependent capabilities, systems that listen to each other, learn from each other, and adapt together. Imagine cybersecurity not as a fortress, but as an orchestra. Threat intelligence may play percussion, setting tempo through rhythm and pulse. Governance frameworks can provide the sheet music, ultimately ensuring structure and order. AI systems can act as conductors, reading patterns and anticipating shifts. And human judgment can bring tone and texture, the intuition that no machine can replicate. When these elements operate in sync, we don't just achieve defense, we create resilience with rhythm. Part 2, the ethics imperative from compliance to consciousness. We need to talk about ethics because we often reduce it to compliance. A checklist, a certification, a line in the policy manual. But true ethics in cybersecurity isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. Every decision we make to automate, to monitor, to collect, to share, shapes the world our technologies create. So the tools we build need to reflect the values we embed. Ethical resilience requires 4 conscious commitments. Transparency over secrecy. Openness doesn't weaken security, it strengthens legitimacy. Explainable AI, auditable processes, and accountable leadership all foster public confidence. Equity over efficiency. A secure system that marginalizes its users or limits accesses extensively isn't truly resilient. Inclusive design ensures that protection and participation go hand in hand. Foresight over fear. Fear is a breeder of control. Foresight enables extreme collaboration. Ethical foresight frameworks, much like UNESCO's recommendations on the ethics of artificial intelligence from 2021 and many others, teach us to anticipate harm before it occurs so that we can ensure resiliency through a defense in depth model. And lastly, responsibility over reaction, because cyber harmony begins when every stakeholder, government, industry, citizen, recognizes their role as a guardian, not just as a consumer of the digital ecosystem. Thus, the shift from compliance to consciousness, from checking the box to building our global compass. Part 3. The human element, where trust and vulnerability meet. We often say that people are the weakest link in cybersecurity, but what if they're also the strongest signal? Humans introduce unpredictability, yes, but they also introduce context, creativity, and conscious. Cyber harmony is about designing systems that amplify human strengths rather than penalize human error. That means cultivating psychological safety in cyber teams so professionals can report incidents without fear of blame. Ethical literacy, teaching not just how to secure blindly, but ultimately why it matters to do so. And then diverse perspectives, because homogeneous teams miss patterns that inclusive teams can detect and act upon for strengthened cyber resiliency. Research from MIT's Human Dynamics Lab shows that the highest performing teams don't necessarily have the highest IQs. What they do have the most of is equal turn-taking in conversation. In other words, harmony begets from listening. If we want to build ethical resilience, we must start by restoring the humanity in cybersecurity, because trust begins not only in code, but deeper so in our interconnections. Part 4, the unrealized opportunity, designing for harmony and not just defense. Let's confront the truth. We've built a cybersecurity architecture optimized for control, not necessarily for collaborations. Firewalls, permissions, isolations, all necessary, but still reactive. The unrealized opportunity is to design systems for cooperation by default, not isolation. This means embedding interoperable ethics modules in AI-driven security tools. It means creating shared situational awareness dashboards across government, private sector, and academia. It means establishing digital harmony accords, mutual standards for data integrity, response transparency, and cyber peace commitments. Imagine a world where public and private sector teams train together, simulate together, and recover together, not as competitors, but as co-stewards of a shared infrastructure. That's cyber harmony in action, because harmony is not about passivity. It's about intentional alignment and action under pressure towards greater cyber resiliency. Part 5, resilience as a collective practice. True resilience isn't about never breaking. It's about learning how to bend. It's a collective skill that grows stronger through every disruption that we can grow through. To build ethical resilience, organizations must cultivate 5 harmonized practices. 1, resilient design. Embed modularity and redundancy so no single point of failure collapses our integrated systems. Responsive governance. Align oversight with innovation cycles, agile policies that evolve alongside technology. Relational trust. We need to build multi-sector partnerships grounded in shared accountability, not mere contracts. Reflective leadership. We need to encourage self-auditing lectures where ethics and impact are reviewed as regularly as code. Regenerative learning. We need to capture lessons from every incident and reintegrate them into design, training, and culture. Resilience is not static. It's a living rhythm, learned and hardened through experience. Lastly, part 6, harmony between humanity and technology. So let's take a step back and look at what is cyber harmony really? Well, it's the deliberate effort to make technology serve human flourishing. I think we can agree that we've mastered efficiency on many fronts. But now we need to master empathy. I think we could agree we've built automation and it continues to exponentially grow in its efficiencies and effectiveness and the productivity gains that we get from it. But now we need to embed authenticity. I think we can say we've achieved global connectivity, but perhaps our gap is that we have not achieved global coherence, and that's an imperative. Cyber harmony sits at the intersection of these following 3 timeless truths. Innovation must ultimately serve humanity. Governance must evolve at the speed of technology, and ethics must anchor both. It is today, this year, and now the moment where digital trust meets moral courage. So our strategic takeaways for building the practice of harmony: create ethical operating rhythms, integrate reflection, risk dialogue, and ethical decision checkpoints into every sprint or project cycle. Invest in human resilience. Train teams not only in technical recovery, but in emotional intelligence, communication, and adaptive thinking. Build cross-domain harmony councils, convene diverse voices, technologists, social scientists, ethicists, and citizens to co-design cyber norms. Elevate transparency as a performance metric. Report not only on breaches prevented, but on trust strengthened. And lastly, lead with integrity, because no technology can compensate for the absence of moral clarity. So in closing, my reflection is the music of meaning. When the systems hum and the teams align, when strategy, ethics, and innovation all play in tune, something absolutely remarkable happens. We stop reacting. We start creating. We move from defense to design, from noise to nuance, from chaos to coherence. Harmony is not the absence of conflicts, but rather the mastery of the balance. That's what ethical resilience looks like. That's the future of cybersecurity, not built on fear, but definitely built on trust. Not governed by only compliance, but rather also by conscience, and not designed only for control, but also for connection. So as we near the end of this cycle of CSTGIA 2025 cyber resiliency, remember, the world probably doesn't need just more firewalls. It needs more bridges between customers, clients, populations, geographic sections, innovative technologies. It needs more conversations. It needs more courage to listen, lead, and learn in rhythm with one another. And when we can achieve that, cybersecurity will cease to be a burden and a cost center, but ultimately will become a form of beautiful world order. Again, this is Dr. Rhonda Farrell bringing you week 44, Cyber Harmony, Building Ethical Resilience in a Hyper-Connected World.